Negative Messages, Chapter 9, Business Communication, Process and Product, A.E., Mary Ellen Guffey, and Dana Lowy. Conveying unfavorable news, explaining clearly and completely. Readers understand and in the best case accept the bad news. Recipients do not have to call or write to clarify the message. Conveying empathy and sensitivity. Writers use language that respects the reader and attempts to reduce bad feelings. When appropriate, writers accept blame and apologize without creating legal liability for the organization or themselves. Projecting a professional image. Writers stay calm and use polite language and respond with clear explanations of why a negative message was necessary, even when irate customers sound threatening and overstate their claims. Maintaining friendly relations. Writers demonstrate their desire to continue pleasant relations with the receivers and to regain their confidence. Being fair. Writers show that the decision was fair, impartial, and rational. Applying the 3x3 writing process. The first step, analyzing, anticipating, and adapting. Analyze the bad news. Anticipate its effects on the receiver. Announce the bad news directly if the disappointment will be mild. Use techniques to reduce the pain if the bad news is serious. Next, researching, organizing, and drafting. Gather information, brainstorm for ideas, and jot down all reasons you have to explain the bad news. Last, editing, proofreading, and evaluating. Read the message carefully to ensure that it says what you intend. Check the wording to be sure you are concise without being abrupt. Read the sentences to see if they sound like conversation and flow smoothly. Conveying negative news without incurring liability. First, abusive language. This consists of calling people names, defamation, harassing, and all of this includes face-to-face, emails, and social media sites. Careless language. Make sure your words only communicate what you intend. Be specific and precise. The good guy syndrome. No one wants to be the bad guy, but you should not be tempted to make false and legally dangerous statements. Avoid supplying data that could be misleading and do not offer extra information. What strategy to use when delivering a negative message? The first strategy is the direct strategy. You use this strategy when the bad news is not damaging, when the receiver may overlook the bad news, when the organization or receiver prefers directness, when firmness is necessary. Next is the indirect strategy. You use this strategy when the bad news is personally upsetting, when the bad news will provoke a hostile reaction, when the bad news threatens the customer relationship, and when the bad news is unexpected. The delivery method for each strategy. The direct strategy, you want to start with bad news, followed by the reasons, and end with a pleasant close. The indirect strategy, you would want to start with a buffer, followed by the reasons, followed by bad news, and still end with a pleasant close. Presenting the reasons. Providing explanations will reduce hurt feelings or ill will. Explain all reasons very clearly. Explain any benefits, even indirectly, that could help them. explain the company's policy, make sure to choose positive words, and lastly, show fairness and serious intent. Here is the recap for Chapter 9, Negative Messages.